Hi everyone, I'm Sarika Kharbanda and today we are talking with Lean Change Facilitator Patrick Verdonk. Patrick, hello.
Good morning, good afternoon for you.
And good morning to you. So,
and good night for everybody else in the world.
Indeed. Or should we just go with good day maybe? It's the common approach. Wherever you are, everybody, Good day to you.
Okay.
I was curious, where are you dialing in from?
I'm dialing in from Madrid, Spain. And as you can see, probably from the looks, they're not really Spanish. So I'm a Dutch guy, wandered through the western side of Europe over the past 20 years, or 25 by now, and ended up in Spain.
Cool.
For some obvious reasons like family, getting married and stuff like that.
Nice. All right. Do you want to tell us a little more about yourself?
Well, I'm a Dutch guy, started in large corporations in telecom. Actually, since the beginning of my professional career, being involved in whatever kind of activities to make improvements, changes to ways of working, to organizations. Moved from the Netherlands to Spain, to Paris, to Paris first.
Okay.
Working in corporate projects, international levels, again as project manager, process change manager, anything that had to do again with changes. Went back a bit more to the north, spent 3.5 years in Antwerp, in Belgium. Again, from another angle, but international and change-related programs. And after that, ended up in Spain. Why? Well, my wife is Spanish. I met her during my period in Paris. She came back with me, and then I came back with her. That's the very simple explanation. Why did I leave telco? Because of my move to Spain. I moved myself apparently within the company, within a position where continuing what I liked to do was not an option. Then I said, okay, so I will start doing it myself. And I left. And that was about 6 years ago by now. How did I end up in Lean Change Management? For me, it was just a logical evolution. Where projects at an international level always had an IT angle within the corporate world. 6, 7, 8 years ago, they started to look into more agile ways of working those global projects. And me, because I'm always at the impact on people of those kind of projects. I started to look into people-related change methodologies. This is where I encountered Lean Change Management. Fan ever since. I went to Amsterdam, from Madrid to Amsterdam in 2015, where I followed the Lean Change Agent training with Jason. For me, that was a great opportunity because it was my home base. I was born over there. It was just great to see the master himself in action. The easiness with which he explains these concepts, I can still now only dream of. But anyway, that's it. It's not an interview about Jason. It's an interview about.
Indeed. So tell me, you said you were on this change journey already in Paris. Was that the first time you think you started on this journey, or were you already on a change journey much before Paris?
I think we're all on a change journey at the moment we get born. Why I got so much a fan of Lean Change Management? But I started to see it more and more in everything that I'm doing. And sometimes I tell the story to people. Just think about the Lean Change cycle. We gather insights, we define our options, and we experiment with something. But it's a cycle that always comes back in everything that we do every day. Think about waking up in the morning, dropping your kids off to school, and you know at the point in time that you drop them off to school that in the evening they come back home and they want dinner. So what are you preparing? How do you decide what you prepare? Well, you open the fridge. First thing to do. Do we have something that I can prepare for them? Well, I have this, which might lead to that. But I think they had in the school something to eat which is similar to that. So let me find another recipe and see where I can buy it. So you start searching, you gather insights, you grasp and within all the recipes that you can find, you grab one that you think that your kids will love. Now back to the fridge, do I have everything? No. Okay, so first supermarket to buy my ingredients over there. Buy whatever I need. Which brand? I don't know. There's too many options. So just get one. You prepare the meal, and then the second part of the experiment comes, because my hypothesis is that the children will love it. But do they actually like it or not? Or maybe just a little? Gives me the information of what to do next time. Exactly. And it's just a simple everyday life. If we don't think about it like that, we are not conscious about the fact that we are actually using the lean change cycle in something as simple as preparing a dinner. Now, I used a lot of words to explain it. This is a process that goes in seconds through your head. I think if the people are more conscious about a lean change as a concept of living and a way of living and a thing that you're doing every day, and just project that back to my work life, they start to see that they are actually already applying it just unconsciously. And if you become conscious about it and you start to visualize what you're doing so that you can communicate about what you do, people can see what you're doing. Then we help each other to move change step by step a bit forward.
True. I mean, being intentional about something and then unconsciously already just applying it, we just don't realize we are just doing it every day. That's so true. Yeah, I like the way you put that. So I know today you're running a lot of workshops. I mean, okay, you knew you were into the change space already. You're, unconsciously doing a lot of stuff in that space. You've probably already gone through your own change journey, given that you also stayed in different places. I look at that as, change also getting impacted over you rather than you just driving change, because, you're staying in different countries, different cities, getting impacted with different types of changes. But tell me, why did you want to become a facilitator of lean change management?
Good question. I think it's the urge of trying to help people to become conscious about change, especially the impact on people. So I am really focused in everything that is changed, but also everything that's surrounding it around the whole transformation stuff around agile or digital transformations, or cultural, organizational transformations. With people, it's in the end, it's all change, and it starts with people.
True.
And I don't believe that as a person that spent a big part of his working life in corporations, companies will hire you directly as a consultant to come help them out with these kind of things. So it's like a step, a necessity to gain some visibility for yourself, in order to start helping more and more people with being conscious about change and the impact it has on people. So, and a facilitator, I'm doing in companies, I'm doing public workshops. Bit by bit, it starts to spread, no? So at least you get the feeling that when you talk with these people a few weeks, a month, 2 months later, and they tell you, hey, this thing that you showed us, I did that at work, and people were flipping with it, literally. They say, okay, so you know what? I'm actually making a change. I'm helping people to make change.
Nice.
And if there's only one person in the full year that comes back with a feedback like that, I made a difference. And that's what's driving me. Just helping people to make a difference.
That's beautiful. Yeah. If you can just change even one person to do that, it's brilliant. Yeah.
He did some culture hacking. So especially that it's one of those practices that you say, okay, well, that's not the easiest one to start with. But he loved it. So it's really fun.
Nice. Then I think that reminds me, you've got these 2 additional certifications now in your portfolio. You've got the IC Agile certifications of ICP-ENT, the Enterprise Agility, and then ICP-CAT, Coaching Agile Transitions. So what's with these 2 IC Agile certifications and the blended value of lean change with them?
The official story and my perspective now. The official story I'm using, at least for the outside world, the lean change agents. So the foundation course for lean change management is for everybody and anybody. When you say you are involved in change, you want to get more involved in change, you realize that every project that you're involved in has some change component, and you want to understand a bit better what is this all about and how you can do that in a more effective, more agile way, go to the Lean Change Agent workshop. You don't need anything else. The ICP-CAT, the CAT version, Coaching Agile Transitions, as it's called with the full name set. We see a different audience. We see there much more change agents, people that are actually actively working in change, and know that the existing traditional methodologies do not always work as effectively as being marketed. So they want to understand if there are other ways, and there are ways to bring some agility, which is one of those wonderful marketing words that people always seem to buy. If they can bring that back into change. That's one category. The other category of people that come to these courses are agile coaches, or people that are working on agile side of things in companies, and realize that actually what they're doing is involving a lot of change. Because you can talk about changing a mindset, but the change in mindset comes that people have to do something different and have to think differently. Well, if we say the word different, it means change. So those are the kind of people that come to this kind of training. Why the ENT? The ENT to me is an extension where the CIT talks about how to coach agile transitions. The ENT course is give you some insight in what to take into account when you start an agile transition or an organizational transition even. So there are different parts to that. It's very broad. It's extremely broad. So it's not a course for people that really want to take a deep dive in any of the topics. It is really giving you an overview of, hey, if I start with an agile transition, then I have to take a look at complexity, what methodologies, or what help can I get from agile frameworks? How does lean fit into the whole picture? What about my culture, my structure, the people that are surrounding this? What kind of leadership do we need? This is what this course is talking about. And then when we have that encapsulated down, we can go into the actual execution. So how are we going to act based on what we have identified from an enterprise agility perspective? So the power actually is in combining the two, the ENT and the CAT. Which kind of people come to the ENT? The same ones as in the CAT course, what I see, but often people with a bit more experience, and it's also a place where we see more business managers.
Okay.
Business managers that understand that their company or their work is complex. There's always some complication, some complexity, some chaos that appears on their plate every day, and they like to understand better all the flow or the noise that's going on around agile, change, transformation. What does it actually mean? What is the impact for that? The agile coaches were the same. The agile coaches come to understand how to bring agility to change and to get a better, broader perspective of if I'm going out of my IT world, where many of them still come from, and I want to really go on a business level. They ask me to go on a business level to introduce agility. What does that mean? And for the change agents, there's the interesting combination of understanding that it is about change, because we're talking about transformations, but agility and whatever is running our company and how our company, what are the important aspects within our company we have to take into account when we launch these kind of transformations, is what they can gain out of that.
Which brings me to another question, because one, yes, you are working out of Spain, that's one thing. And we are also having this interview in English. But the question is, participants want to take your training in Spanish over English. Is that an option that you give, or do you do your trainings just in English? Curious.
Well, the interesting thing, I don't only do change management training. Right? So I'm part of a smaller boutique consultancy company in Spain. It's called Alquimia del Talento. And before the pandemic hit us, we were actually doing everything presential and everything in Spanish.
Okay.
Apart from my contributions to the change management community and some other small things. We have an international partner we've done a couple of projects with that go indeed in English. But actually, with the pandemic, my market opened up. Just to make it plain and simple. So for me, the positive effect of the pandemic is that everything from one day to another had to be virtual. I in my work life always worked remotely. From almost I think the first remote working experience I had was when I was working in Paris on international projects.
Right.
So whether you call it work from home or from the office, we always had video conference rooms, telephone conferences. Everything's been optimized, yes. But I feel very comfortable doing these things this way, in a remote working style, in a virtual style.
Right.
And it gave me the opportunity to do everything in English again. Though I lived for 10 years in Spain, I've worked for 25, 30 years in English. So English is just more comfortable for me to do to explain these kind of concepts in. Spanish, from a conceptual perspective, I'm every now and then just looking for words. In Spain, I always tell the people, if I make a silly mistake in the language, you're allowed to laugh. No problem. Because I will keep making them.
Right.
I will keep making them. Spanish is a too rich language for a foreigner to speak it without any mistakes. It doesn't matter. I don't care if people laugh about me, as long as they get the message.
Well, that's the intent, right? So the message.
So yeah, and again, I'm past 2 years I did most of my training in English. I've done one or two in Spanish as well.
Okay.
For the ENT, which is the latest addition to the set of programs.
Right.
I think the first one is a presential one, and the first virtual one are set for the second quarter of this year, so April, May.
Okay. Cool.
I first want to practice in English so that I'm fully aware about what the questions are, what the concepts are, how they can, how people can relate to them, where might improvements be needed or small changes be needed, because none of my courses has ever been the same as the previous one. There's always something different.
Why is that not surprising?
No. It's nothing to do with experimentation.
I agree.
Or not with continuous change, not with always trying to optimize, but you get the picture.
True. So as we get into the wrap up, Patrick, I still have 3 questions for you, even if I'm saying wrap up. So, yeah.
1.
All right. So the first one is, what advice might you give to change agents out there?
Shut up and listen. First and above all, if you are unable to listen to what's really going on, the probability that you start off wrong is very high. Ask a lot of questions and listen. Don't hold back, because then you get driven into a corner where you can't escape from. And then the only way out is actually literally out. That's not the objective of what we try to make change with companies. So that's I've learned those lessons. Think very carefully, ask a lot of questions, and make your thoughts visible. My thinking is not private. It's complex enough to think about everything in your head, to write scribbles in your own notebook. But then what do you do with it? And if you're unable to share your thoughts with other people, your thoughts are only valuable to yourself. The last thing, maybe, change starts with you. There's nothing new in there neither, I know, but it is true. If you are trying to convince people that daily stand-ups are a need for, you need to show up in front of your big change wall and everything, and you don't appear, well, guess what? The people won't come anymore. Yeah. That might last 2 days. If you have to set the example, people, how frustrating that might be sometimes. But that's why we're change agents. We have a hard head, or broad shoulders, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I've been pushed aside a lot in my work life. I don't care. I learned from that. Just do it different next time.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. It's very powerful advice. Yeah. So simple yet powerful, and we forget.
Second question.
Perfect. What immediate programs do you have upcoming on Lean Change or ENT or CAT? Do you have something that you'd like to share with us that's popping up right away in the next weeks or months?
Yep. I'm starting next Friday with my 3rd edition, second public edition of the ENT course.
Okay.
I think that I have a CAT still planned, I think, somewhere in this next quarter.
Okay.
Quarter-ish something.
Okay.
We still had a plan to try to organize a bootcamp style workshop together with Ryan Berman and from the UK. But that's due to his personal circumstances and due to COVID, we have postponed till second half of this year somewhere. Okay. Because we want to do it in person.
Right.
It's a facilitator-led 5-day course where we do the ICP-ENT first and the CAT second.
Right.
So we'll use a use case that flows through the whole course. We start with the identification of people in different company groups. They can, of course, because we're agile, self-organize around that. But we can't have one person representing one company and 10 people another. And it's group and subgroup work all week long. It's very intense. But we think and we are convinced that it makes sense if people see the relation between ENT and the CAT and how change management can guide you through that whole process. It might be very good promotion for the concept of lean change management overall. So we want to give it a shot.
Okay, sounds good. So
But
yes.
first of all, next week, virtual, 5 sessions of 4 hours, Central European time, from 9 o'clock in the morning till 1:30 in the afternoon, including breaks. So that's a bit about it. If people still want to register, they have to be quick because there's some pre-work.
Yes. So anybody listening to this,
Not a lot,
or watching,
but be prepared.
indeed.
Sorry. No, it's a typical course where I don't do the work, but participants do.
Now
They know that. I always tell them, I'm not here to work. You're here to work. I'm just here to tell you what work you have to do. I like being the boss.
Indeed. So, okay, for those who are listening in and watching us have this conversation, it's on the 18th of March, next Friday, starts then. So you definitely want to register much before that. So you have enough time to complete the little teeny weeny free work that's available. Okay. Third question and the final one.
Oh, okay. Shoot.
Okay.
Shoot.
So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, Patrick, how can one reach out to you?
The easiest way is LinkedIn.
And do you want to?
It's very simple. It's my name, which you can see here at the bottom. No, it reads there. Patrick Verdonk. You type it in. I think there's only one that you can find. The haircut on my image is more or less the same as I have right now, because I just went to the hairdresser. So it's a black and white photo.
Cool.
Photoshopped, of course. It's a business platform. It's a business connection platform. You have to look professional. Yeah, that was good at that point in time. When I just joined Untitled Talento, we did an official photo shoot, which was a lot of fun. It's actually a lot against my nature, so I had a lot of fun doing it.
That must be fun, I'm sure.
LinkedIn, if not, and my email, I don't know if you can put it in a banner on the video.
We can definitely.
An email you can always send to me. Our website, alquimiadeltalento.com. Just push the contact button and I will see the emails. They are normally all are directed to me. Normally. If I don't reach out to you after you contacted me, I'm probably dead. Or there's something technically completely wrong, but one of the two.
Yeah. Then maybe try another channel. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not expecting to die very soon, so just try to reach out. Anybody anyway that wants to have a conversation on any of the topics related to change, or if you look at the learning objectives of the ENT course and say, hey, how does this work in your course, and you want to know something more, just reach out. No problem at all.
Awesome. Okay, so we have actually wrapped up for our talk today. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Patrick.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Sarika. You know that. We go way back.
It's always good to know it again. So thank you so much.
Exactly.
And I've had a good conversation, learned something new about you, and hoping to have more conversations and continuing to keep this going. Thank you.
We will. Thanks so much, Sarika. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too, Patrick.